Goodbye 7th edition, hello to the new 40k. Time for an Age of 8th discussion. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, a brand new little mini series in the run-up to the new release of Warhammer 40k, new hammer, 8th edition, whatever you want to call it. Naming the series Age of 8th, thanks to one of my subscribers for the suggestion. I thought it was a really good suggestion, because let's face it, Age of Sigmar is having a massive influence upon Warhammer 40k, and although GW say it's not being Sigmarized as such, there's absolutely no doubt that there's a huge input from Age of Sigmar into our game of 40k. So in this video, like I said, I want to have a little chat about a few of the topics. I know there's quite a number of videos out there already covering the rules and stuff, so I'm not going to go sort of too much rules based, but I am going to pick a few topics, a few changes that are going to happen, and just have a little discussion on them, whether I like them, I don't like them, my fears, my excitement, etc. And the first thing of note that I want to discuss, our beloved Codex. No! Whoa, whoa, whoa! And I hardly used you. You're way too powerful. I never played you, but I heard you were rubbish. Oh well, let's hope the new one's better. GW, better not have messed up my Wolven. You better not change those weapon options, because I didn't magnetise them. So yeah, the Codex is gone, which is quite interesting. So every single book that we currently own is no longer compatible with the new edition. This is a major move. Obviously we're used to a Codex going out of date and then being replaced by a new one, so it's not new to us, you know, we're used to that. From my point of view, I like having the old Codex books and being able to look through them, even though they're not usable anymore. The collector side of me enjoys having those books. So I'm not too gutted really that that's happened, because I'm used to that happening over a period of time. Now obviously there's many of us that collect not just our own books, but books for all of the armies. I've seen some videos, you know, where people have the whole collection, like 30 odd books, and it's like, well, these are useless now. Well, maybe they are useless, but they're still a great collection to have. You know, they're really nice books, and you've got all the fluff and the artwork and everything in there. So I don't think it's too much to worry about. Obviously there's the money side of things, but I'm sure Games Workshop are going to sort that out by making all of the rules free for us in the new edition, or at least most of them. So I believe we're getting the core rules free, and then I believe the army books, Codex or whatever, are going to be released probably free, or a small, I believe they said, affordable price. It strikes me that we are probably going to be all digital, possibly. I mean, whether we're actually going to have new Codex, new books, I don't know. I mean, if they do release new books and they are affordable, I'm thinking a £10 for a book, maybe, as an affordable price. That's the sort of figure I have. I mean, if I've got to buy 6 books for my armies, it's £60. Now, if it goes digital, that does slightly worry me, to be honest. And the reason why it worries me is because I don't currently own an iPad or a tablet. I have a mobile phone, but it's sort of half broken, the top of the screen doesn't work. And I've had a digital Codex before, my Dark Eldar one, and I ended up having to print it out. And that was a pain in the bum and difficult to access the paperwork as well. So I'm getting a little bit concerned that you're going to have an iPad or stroke tablet to play the new edition of 40k, and if so, that concerns me. Now, the way I'm looking at it, I'm trying to put a positive spin on it. If that is the case, and that is the only way to play, then at least I don't have to buy 6 new Codex codices for £35 each or £30 each. So if I don't have to buy them, maybe I could invest in a tablet of some description. I don't need a tablet for anything else, so it would just be for my rule books. So I could probably get quite a basic one for a reasonable price. Actually, if you have any suggestions on a tablet or not an iPad, I won't say iPad, obviously that's a particular brand, but a tablet of some description that you think might be suitable, let me know, because I think I'm going to have to get with the young ones and actually get myself some sort of tablet. So yeah, Codex is gone, Codices gone, and let's move on to the next topic. Gone. I didn't even use this, not even once. So, templates. Templates are also gone, defunct, no longer in use. I feel slightly sorry for those independent companies that are making really cool templates, because obviously they're not usable anymore. I don't know if any other games would be able to use them, but certainly our game is not going to use them. So what do I think of that? I can understand why they've done it. They've done it because they think A, it will speed up the game, and B, there'll be less arguments, because you don't have to hold a template and stand over it and say he's in, and then you've got an opponent potentially saying, oh, let me check that, oh no he's not in, you know, just move it like this. So yeah, they can get a bit of arguments, I suppose, but I would say that only really happens at probably a top level. I've never had an argument. I've been playing this game for a good amount of years, since 3rd edition, and I've never had an argument about how many people are under a template. You know, so I don't know. Obviously it happens, and that's why they've changed it, and I can see that it would speed up the game. But personally, I found templates fun. I thought they were fun. You know, especially you could have your own special cool templates, and if you're doing a flamer, you could put your flamer template down and make a flamer noise. I enjoyed them. I will be sad to see them go, to be honest. I accept that they've gone, you know, but I'll be a little bit sad, to be honest, that templates are going. Okay, so let's have a look at the next topic. I wonder how far wraiths will move. What about scarab swarms and warriors? Will Eldar jack bikes be able to move 48 inches still? Right, so we're now on to actual rules, and yeah, the movement. Now, the movement is quite interesting, and I seem to remember that this potentially is a thing that's happened in the past. I don't think I've seen it in 40k in all the editions that I've been playing. I do remember it being in the old fantasy game at some point, where each unit has its own movement value, which is quite interesting. Now, my initial thought is, now I've got a load of more rules to learn for my units. Each individual unit's going to have a different movement. I've got to learn all those. And if we were talking about, say, the current edition of 7th edition, and yes, I'd have to learn all those rules plus all the other rules, then that would be a lot of rules to learn. But then I'm looking at the whole picture of this, and our core rule set is going to be a lot more dumbed down. There's going to be a lot less to remember. So taking that into account, then having to remember different movement inches on the different units, I think isn't going to be so bad. I think it will be quite good for the game, where certain units can obviously move certain distances. So say Terminators, we know now, are going to be moving 5 inches, where standard Marines are going to be moving 6 inches, and then who knows what other units are going to be moving at. Maybe Eldar might move 7 inches, or you know, whatever. So it's going to be quite interesting regarding movements. My initial thought was, now got loads of more rules to learn, but actually I think looking at the bigger picture, where there's going to be a lot less rules to be learned, because we are going to be seeing a more dumbed down version of the main rule book. So you're not going to have unit types in there. I don't think you're going to have universal special rules in there. There's going to be loads of stuff missing that we don't have to learn anymore. So just learning the movement on a few units shouldn't be too much of a problem. So I'm okay with that. I think it's good. I think it's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to finding out how fast all of my units for my armies are going to be moving. I don't care how fast you are in close combat, I'm going to hit you on 3s. Who needs a ballistic skill? I shoot on 3s. And carrying on with stats, so we now know that a weapon skill and ballistic skill are going to be sort of almost fixed. So we're not going to have any charts anymore, so again there's less to remember. We're going to have a fixed value, so I'm going to be either hitting you, say, on 3s or 2s or 4s, and that will be it. So it doesn't really matter about any charts and stuff. So I think that's a definite plus side. You know exactly what number you need on the dice before you even start. Obviously we're going to see mainly, I don't think we're going to see too much of a change in terms of like shooting and stuff for units of very specific types. You know, I'm sure that all the Space Marines will be shooting on 3s, etc. And all the special characters will probably be shooting on 2s, blah blah blah. So I don't think it'll be too much of a change, except we don't have the chart anymore, and I suppose that's a plus point. I mean, there is a part of me that's going to miss all of these little intricate rules, because I've grown up learning all those rules as such, and I enjoy the fact that it's a bit complicated and other people may find it hard to learn, and that, you know, you've got to put effort in to learn. But I can totally understand from Games Workshop's sort of point of view, they don't want it to be like that. They want it to be nice and easy to play. They probably want anyone who plays Age of Sigmar to be able to play 40k, and anyone who's playing 40k to be able to play Age of Sigmar. So both gaming systems can be easily sold, and you can't argue with that. And I suppose at the end of the day, if it is easier to learn the rules, then it's got to be a good thing. I mean, I've got a 9-year-old daughter coming up who's going to probably want to start playing soon, and it's going to be a lot easier for me to show her the rules. So, you know, you can't argue with simplifying the rules, and specifically the profile stats seem to be a good step in that direction. Okay, so let's have a look now at wounds. You? Yes, it's me, you imposter. So yeah, wounds. So it seems like we're getting a lot more wounds on our models, and vehicles are also going to be getting wounds. Now it's been indicated that there's going to be a lot more wounds. It's also been indicated that those wounds are going to be stripped a lot easier. I suppose it comes in hand with how the rules work. It seems slightly odd that you give everything more wounds and then you make it easier to take the wounds off. Why not just stick with the wounds, and then it's as difficult as it is now to take the wounds off? There must be a games mechanic reason behind that. Maybe it just makes it more fun, I don't know. What I am thinking is we're going to need some wound counters. I currently use dice for my wound counters, and obviously use a d6. I think it seems like we're going to have a lot more wounds than that. I mean, potentially, you know, the Imperial Knights, they might have 20 wounds or something. So I think that's slightly disappointing in that this simplified game, arguably we're going to need more counters and stuff for it, for wounds. So I'm not so sure about that. I don't know how that's going to pan out. And it also means that our veterans are going to have to relearn all of our stats for our models, in particular on the wounds, you know, how many wounds we've got. So it's an interesting move. I'm sure there's a reason behind it. In terms of the gameplay, I'm interested to see that in action. But like I said, the wound counters, slightly concerning me. let's hope GW bring out some really cool wound counters along with the release. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about the psychic phase. Right, the psychic phase. Now, anyone who follows my channel knows that I don't particularly like the psychic phase. I used to like it how it used to be back in 4th edition, where you had a Farseer, he had some powers that he could choose. You could take Guide, Fortune, Doom, whatever. You pay your points, you've got your power, job done. Some armies had Psykers, some didn't. It seemed to make sense to me. That was a perfect solution in the Warhammer 40k universe. Of course, they changed it, introduced the psychic phase. Every Tom, Dick and Harry now can have psychic powers. It made shooting incredibly powerful. All those re-rolls with the prescience power. And then not only that, but you would have these psychic shooting attacks, and then you had your shooting phase as well. And I didn't really enjoy the old psychic phase. Personally, I tried not to take too many psychers. Now, the new, and I personally would have been quite happy to have just got rid of the psychic phase, no psychic phase, just a few psychers in the game. It's one of my least favourite things of the game. Now, we don't currently know whether the psychers are going to be able to choose their powers, or whether it's going to be random. Now, I have to be honest, I haven't taken too much note of the psychic phase in the new edition, because it doesn't interest me quite as much as maybe some of the others. I know they've got rid of the Deny the Witch. No, what have they got rid of? They've got rid of the warp charge thing, the pool of dice. That's gone, which I think that's a good idea. Just simplify that a little bit more. We definitely need an easier, simplified, quicker, less annoying psychic phase, especially when you're playing armies that don't have psychers, like Necrons. Yeah. I think I remember them saying that everyone will have access to psychic powers, I think. Of course, Necrons do have a Gloom Prism, so don't get too excited. I don't think we're going to see the return of cryptics and powers of psychic powers and stuff. We've got a Gloom Prism. I reckon that will be it for Necrons. But we'll find out, and obviously I do plan to do a whole series of videos on Necrons and 8th edition, so keep an eye out for that. Right, let's have a look at the next thing I want to talk about. What do you mean you'd have to be in base contact? 1 inch away? Really? So the charge phase, and this is really looking different now. So you can charge in and you can be 1 inch away from your enemy and be in base contact. I think from protecting my models point of view, that's quite good. Especially my little spiky ones and stuff with whips and that. I mean, there's nothing worse. You put them in base contact, he dies, you try to take him off, and then you lift him up and there's like 100 models all attached to them. And then there's a good chance of them breaking. So from my model point of view, I think it's quite a good rule. But it seemed very foreign to me to not actually be in base contact, but be in base contact. And then there's these like quirky rules where if you're in 1 inch of another unit, I think there's something going on there as well. So it all seems a bit odd to me. It also seems a bit odd that they've taken away templates, because there's a lot of like guessing and like, are they in, are they not in? And then they're introducing a 1 inch thing for close combat. So okay, if you charge in, it could make it a lot simpler probably to get in if you're in range. What happens when you're just out of range and there's a squeezy, as we call it, where it's like slightly in, slightly out, you've got to get your tape measure out. I can see a lot of 1 inch tape measure tools coming out for that. Slightly odd move actually, but of course play testing is the key thing. Simplified the rules, stop arguments, take templates away, introduce a 1 inch range for assault. I don't know how it's going to work out, it's going to be interesting. We'll have to wait and see. Please sir, don't charge me. Oh please, don't charge me. Wah, yes, at last. I can wah, and I can assault, and I can kill people. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this one, because as I record this video, this is the only information that I've got, and that is the assault phase. Now this is like major differences. As we thought, or as we were told, units will strike first who charge first, which is very, very interesting. And we're not going to be going in initiative order. It has been confirmed. Now I don't know whether there's going to be stuff which is going to change the profiles around, whether, you know, there's certain things that happen in the game that will change the charger from charging in first and the person that didn't charge striking last. I'm sure there will be some stuff which change that, but this is big. This is very big, and I'm assuming, as there's going to be no initiative order, then it's going to change up what we take on our assault units in terms of weapons quite dramatically. I think this is the single most biggest thing which is going to change the game up totally. This is where you're going to have to start thinking about tactics and the best way to arm up your guys. And then you've got other things as well. There's apparently like a reactive thing that you can do. So although the charger gets to charge and strike first, I think there's some sort of activation that you can do with your units, or you can choose to do, which maybe changes things up. And of course there's going to be a run rule as well. So you're going to be able to come out of close combat, although I believe you can't really do anything once you do. I don't know how much of an advantage that's going to be. It's probably just going to hand your opponent an advantage, or unless you can shoot. So you can, I mean, if it's Necrons for example, it would be great if you're in close combat, assuming you don't get swept, and then you can just come out of close combat and shoot. If that's possible, then it could be quite good. Now I also believe that we're not going to have, I believe something to do with morale. Now I don't know too much about this actually, to be honest with you, and it isn't on my list of stuff to talk about, but I do remember morale is going to be different. So as far as I'm aware, it's sort of going back to how it used to be in 4th edition. I think 4th edition was if you lost close combat, you took a leadership check, and then however many you lost by, your guys had to die basically. And I remember this was where there's a massive change to fearless units in the assault, where if you were fearless and you lost the combat, you started losing models, and then they changed it so that if you were fearless, you lost combat, nothing happened. And that was a major change. So it means that we've got to go back to that. That could be quite interesting, and it's going to make tar pitting quite difficult, because you're going to start losing models even if you are fearless. So your Scarab Swarms, for example, probably going to start losing models even though you're fearless. And then also, if your enemy has a chance to run out of the assault, again, tar pitting tactics are probably not going to be with us anymore. So Fritz, you're going to have to think of something else to do with the occultists. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the little chit chat. I'm going to make another one hopefully next week with some more of the newer rules which are going to be announced over the next days or so. So watch out for that video. Look forward to all your comments. Please share, like, subscribe. Hit that bell button next to the subscribe button so you can keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.